Hey everybody, it is Tuesday night, and that means it's time for What's Up on the EDH Rec Twitch stream. This is a weekly interview AMA style show where we bring on well known people in the Magic the Gathering community and just annoy the hell out of them with lots of questions. Which is why I got this job, because I'm really good at annoying people. I'm your host, Andy Zupke. Joining me tonight is the amazing, incredible Bobbi Christine. Bobbi Christine, say hello.
Hello, everybody. So happy to be here.
And we are happy to have you. Bobbi Christine, first question, right off the bat. Big question, burning question on everybody's minds. How the hell are you? You doing all right?
Hello, everybody. It's great to meet you, everybody in chat. If we haven't met before, my name is Bobbi Christine Brewer. I'm a community builder with Lobby Pristine and Birds of Paradise. And how the hell I am right now is I've got a full heart and a tired brain. And they're working together. They're making it happen. But we just finished MagicCon Chicago weekend. This isn't my normal setup. I'm actually hanging out at my lovely friend Jordan LeBlanc's place, and she's been kind enough to let me use her stream setup. I'm post MagicCon Chicago, relaxing with my bestie. My heart is so full from an absolutely wild, wild, wild weekend. So a combination of extraordinarily exhausted and extraordinarily joyful at the moment.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad about the joyful part. I hope you recover from the exhaustion very soon. People in chat, this is an AMA style show, so go ahead and get those questions going in chat. It helps me out if you tag at EDHRECast so I can see them more easily when we get to the question part. And yeah, go ahead and start dropping those questions for Bobbi Christine.
Yes, give me the hard questions. I just beat cancer, so I can handle anything. Drop it on me. Give me your bombs.
And of course, if you like what you see and want to give us some support, go ahead and drop us a sub, or give a friend a sub. Everybody likes getting subs. Sub sandwiches are tasty.
Drop those biddies.
Biddies are good too. We'll take biddies too. All right, so now while we wait for chat to come up with a few questions, I'm going to give you a few of my own. And I always like to start this off by having my guest give us their origin story. How did you become a content creator? What lured you into this lifestyle?
Content creator origin story.
Yeah.
Didn't exactly start with Magic the Gathering. It was right at pandemic 2020. Somehow 5 years ago, I guess. I was working at UPS, throwing packages in a warehouse, just running the rat race, doing the rat race. I discovered Twitch, and the first Twitch streamer that I watched was this lovely little Ukrainian gal named Lila, and she was playing Genshin Impact, and I was playing Genshin Impact, and I was like, "Is this a thing? Like this is a thing." This is the thing. People do this. They get on camera, they talk at the camera, they play a video game, and then everyone enjoys it. I, as an audience member, I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying this. And so with the pandemic hit, and we were at UPS, we were essential workers, but it didn't feel like we were being treated like essential workers. And basically, the hubbub of the pandemic got me to a point with UPS where I'm like, I put my 5 years in, I'm done. I can't do UPS anymore. This is not congruent with who I am as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered Twitch, and I had slowly started to stream myself, being inspired by the Twitch streamer that I watched, Leela. And next thing you know, I'm playing a little Genshin on stream, a little Genshin Impact, playing a little Hearthstone on stream. I actually got my start. Hearthstone was probably my primary game for a little while. And then I discovered Spell Table. And the spell table discovery made it clear, like, oh, this is like a hive. This is like an ecosystem. Once you find spell table, you find people who play spell table. You find commander content creators. At that 5 years ago now, Affinity Artifacts, Olivia stream, that was super on top. I believe Chase was rocking their stream at the time as well. And so there was already examples of commander streamers. And I not so much in a hope to copy anybody, but I genuinely had a ton of fun and I had a ton of genuine passion in just playing commander with people on stream and playing a ton of spell table. That was when things really unlocked for me. I was very casual Twitch streamer, but then I started like finding my groove when I realized Magic the Gathering was this incredible ecosystem online that I could be a part of. So it was around pandemic time. I think that's a similar story for a lot of people. And it was really the advent of spell table and that made me find the community that then put me in position to be a Magic content creator.
So were you already playing Magic, or did you like see Spell Table and you said, "I'm gonna pick up this Magic game"?
Yeah, that's my content journey, but my Magic the Gathering journey started way back in the day. Back in Lorwyn, 2007
Okay.
was when I inherited a large box of Lorwyn, Shadowmoor, and Morningtide from my uncle. And that unleashed everything. That was like, oh, this is now my game. And so through high school, I would brew my janky tabletop 60 card decks. And then I got into Commander essentially right when the Dragon Edgar Markov precons came out. Those introduced me to Commander, and that's a little more of my Magic journey that goes
Uh-huh.
a bit stretches a bit quite a bit longer than the content journey.
Okay. So when you got that Shadowmoor Lorwyn box, what cards in there like pulled you in the most? What were you most excited about? Was there Did you have a favorite color when you first started?
Easy. Two come to mind. The
Yep.
first was Risk the Redeemed. I did have a Selesnya Elf token deck.
Okay.
One of my first, for sure. A deck I ended up gifting to a friend of mine back in Texas. I just knew he loved tokens, and I was already onto a new deck at that point. So the Risk the Redeem that I inherited was one of my first commander decks, possibly my first. I can't remember exactly, but in the following set, Shadowmoor was Roshin Meanderer,
Oh,
which
okay.
was the Gruul tap for 4 mana, but only for X cost.
Yeah.
So between Rift and Roshin, the Lorwyn and the Shadowmoor, those were like my origins. I'm 100%. I remember whatever age I was, teenager at that time, I was like, I don't think cards get any cooler than this.
Very cool. Now you were just at MagicCon Chicago, which I know for a fact because I saw you there, which was
I'm
amazing.
so glad we got to see you.
Tell us all about your experience over the weekend.
Chicago was a whirlwind. Um, in a very, very, very good
Whirlwind.
way. A whirlwind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm freshly recovering from 6 months straight of chemotherapy. I finished my last infusion in December, and this convention here at the end of February is my first convention in like 8 months. It's been a little while since I'm able to attend something. So I going in, I told myself I would be very patient with myself and understanding of my own limitations. So I spent all of my energy on the show floor. I was lucky enough to be invited by Wizards of the Coast. I had a creator badge, and Wizards of the Coast also granted my organization, Birds of Paradise, a reserved table space all of Saturday. So I knew going into Chicago, my energy would be limited because I'm recovering and decided to save and conserve all of it to make Saturday at our reserved space as vibrant and full as I can. I wanted to give all of my energy specifically to a few things, the primary one being our play space. We did Pai Gao, which is Pack Wars. Pai Gao is a way to play Magic the Gathering with 2 packs of Magic cards. You take one pack, you take another pack, and you versus each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea at MagicCon is there's tons of guests, there's tons of people everywhere. If you're looking for a game that isn't like if you jump into a game of Commander at a convention, who knows how long you're going to get locked down on. So I said, come play Pai Gao with Birds of Paradise. It'll be quick pack wars, 1, 2, and it'll let us see and talk to as many people as possible. And the weekend was a blast. We had so many birds. members of Birds of Paradise come by and play Pie Gal with guests and get to know people. And it was just such a full, lovely Saturday at the reserved creator tables with Birds of Paradise. And the other thing that I saved my energy for was Friday morning. The very, very first thing I did at MagicCon Chicago Friday morning was a panel put together by the lovely Queen of Cardboard. We did a panel putting the Her in Gathering. It's part of a series of panels that Birds of Paradise and Community of Cardboard have put together that are just there to make sure that um, discussions about being minorities, women, LGBT in Magic the Gathering are that we're holding space for those conversations. And again, more props to Wizards of the Coast and Diana D'Amico on the creator team for giving us the space and giving us the green light and the okay to host the Her and Gathering panel and to host a space for Birds of Paradise. I've been talking. I feel like I've just went on a huge tangent, but the weekend was full,
Uh-huh.
and that is thanks to a lot of people behind the scenes who made it happen.
Absolutely. Now, tell me more about the Birds of Paradise. How did it come into being? What's its goal? What's the purpose? Tell me more about that.
Birds of Paradise is an organization in Magic the Gathering. We're essentially a guild in Magic the Gathering dedicated to making sure there's always a space and always a platform that are going to raise the voices of marginalized gender in the game. We're very women forward, but of course, we're holding space for minorities, for neurodivergent people, for people with disabilities, essentially those who aren't immediately represented when you go to like a pro tour scene or to an LGS and you look at the player base, and to this day you can see that it's still very majority male.
Mm-hmm.
um and so we're just here to always help with that balance and to help those who are women or marginalized who are getting into the game see clearly that there is a space for them here. Birds of Paradise started about 3 years ago as just a friend group chat. We were just like, it was just eight girlies texting each other who all love magic, and then they're like, what do we call ourselves? Like, let's be something. And that's just how it kind of originated 3 years ago. And then we came up with all kinds of names. Oh, the Soul Wardens or whatever. But we settled on Birds of Paradise because it just felt right because the Birds of Paradise create mana of any color. And we wanted to just accept people of any color and all creeds.
Mm-hmm.
So the Birds of Paradise kind of iconography and meaning really came together. And over the next 3 years, we grew and grew and grew. And as of right now, we have over 40 members of Birds of Paradise
Oh
when
wow.
we started with eight. Um, since I'm on a Birds of Paradise tangent, anyways, one thing that I'm really, really proud of when we formed Birds of Paradise 3 years ago, I was inspired by a group called the She Sparks. She Sparks is Talia Vest, Zabricus, Air Bubbles Cosplay, and Zbex. Another one, all four incredible cosplayers. I was very inspired by the She Sparks because they were that beacon that made it clear that there is a space for women and a space for me in Magic the Gathering. She Sparks slowed things down a little bit. And over the years, I had come to talk to the leaders and learned that one reason the She Sparks slowed their momentum a little bit because because they felt they had done their job quite well. And the reason they felt they had done their job well was because Birds of Paradise came around.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to the leaders of She Sparks, and they were like, "Well, our goal was to introduce more women into Magic. Well, here's the Birds of Paradise. What more like obvious like sign that we've reached our goal than the existence of Birds of Paradise?" And so the She Sparks really, really inspired me to create Birds of Paradise. And last year, all four of the She Sparks joined the Birds of Paradise,
Oh,
really
that's
like
awesome.
solidifying that message of unity.
Yeah.
And that's just something I'm really honored and really proud about. And the momentum of Birds of Paradise really slowed down because I had to go through chemo and beat cancer. But Chicago was the beginning of what I see as our major, major comeback. And so I'm excited to see where Birds of Paradise can fly to. in this coming year.
Excellent. Yeah, that's incredibly inspiring. If somebody wanted to join the Birds of Paradise, how would they go about doing that?
Excellent question. So we're ramping things up again. Last year we had a recruitment drive. That's where we brought on that's when we doubled our roster size. We've done two recruitment drives, one last year and then one the year previous. So certainly by the end of this year we're gonna work on making sure more birds get to come in. I know there's a lot of lovely people out there who want to be a part of Birds of Paradise, and we're going to make sure those recruitment drives are going, and maybe some like personal invitations will go out just from leadership. If we all agree someone's a wonderful fit, we'll reach out and be like, hey, we think you're a wonderful for Birds of Paradise. So if you are interested in joining Birds of Paradise, just keep your eyes out this year for our recruitment drives. And if you're a minority or woman in magic and you're kicking butt out there, I promise we're keeping our eyes out, and we'd love to have you too.
Awesome. Excellent. Now, I wanted to touch on another thing that you mentioned, which was that you recently been dealing with cancer, gone through chemotherapy and everything. So, where are you at with that? Are you completely cancer free? Still working on it? What is the next steps in your treatment?
I am essentially in remission.
Mm-hmm.
The type of cancer that I had, um, it required an extraordinarily vigorous and brutal chemotherapy regimen.
Yeah.
With that said, because it requires such a brutal regimen, it's actually one of the most curable forms of cancer. So, my while I had to kind of go through hell to get these tumors to shrinking and go away, I knew at the end of the tunnel that I was dealing with something that was ultimately one of the most curable forms. So I am in remission. The
Mm-hmm.
only my final I said December, but my final chemotherapy date was November 29th. I haven't had a drop of chemotherapy since, and that's a dream to be able to say. The only thing remaining in this journey, hopefully, is that I'm going to speak with another specialist.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do some scans and decide if there's anything remaining in my lymph nodes in particular that they need to go in and cut out with surgery. It may not be necessary. I may not need any more surgery, but I'm waiting for the consultation to find out whether I'll need some more surgery. But all signs point to the cancer cells have been killed, as was the job of the chemo. All signs essentially point to the chemotherapy doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay. Awesome. Very, very happy to hear that, and I hope your scans in the future go well and you're cancer
Fingers crossed.
free. And yeah,
Yeah.
we're all rooting for you. And you
I'm
know,
a inherently hopeful person,
yeah.
so I'm ready. Oh, I just had a thought. You asked me earlier about my streaming origin.
Uh huh.
And a big part of that origin when I found Spell Table and started streaming Commander with people was I found a group called the Scrap
The
Trawlers.
scrap trawlers. Who are they?
The Scrap
Sounds like a bunch
Trawlers,
of
they were
nerds.
budget Commander. We were making it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Andy, you invited me to join the Scrap Trawlers, and that was a wonderful, wonderful era. I really enjoyed playing with you and Andy and Lenny. So the Scrap Trawlers were an old budget building crew that I was delighted to be a part of for a little while there.
Yeah, we were very happy to have you on the team. It was very exciting times. But of course, you outgrew us. You had to go and
Oh,
spread your
back,
wings,
Andy.
and
It actually was very specifically me trying to put all of my heart and energy into Birds of
yeah,
Paradise that ultimately led to me saying my farewells to the Scrap Trawlers. But I will always look at the Scrap Trawlers and that era very, very fondly.
absolutely. Me too. It was a wonderful time of building some budget brews with some excellent people, including yourself.
Can I say?
Yeah, you can.
Uh, we go back to Scrap Trawlers. We go back a few years. Somehow, Andy,
Uh huh.
you look like you're getting younger. Well done.
Thanks. Thank
I
you.
mean
I
it.
stay out of the
You
sun.
look great.
That's my secret. No sunlight touches these cheeks, I'll tell you.
There you go. That's the secret.
Yeah. All right, we've got a few questions in chat. People in chat, keep those questions coming. We want to get Bobbi Christine lots of questions here. But I've got the Blood Rig guy asking, and I think this person was reading off of my cheat sheet here because these are all questions I was going to ask you. Bobbi, what is your most anticipated set or sets of Magic for 2025?
I'm gonna cheat this question a little bit, and my answer is gonna answer my answer is gonna answer the question, but I'm gonna skip around it a little bit and let you know what I'm most excited for is the seeing what remaining Sephiroth cards are coming. So that's Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
They've already revealed one Sephiroth card, and I have immediately brewed up a deck for it. Sephiroth is the villain of Final Fantasy VII, and he's so tall and beautiful with the hair and with the one winged angel. He's like been my favorite villain since I was a teenager, and I'm excited to brew Sephiroth decks. You know, I'm excited for the whole set, sure, but I know in my heart what I'm really waiting for is to see all of the new Sephiroth cards so that I can make a commander deck with him.
Now, are you a big all-around Final Fantasy nerd, or is it 7 just your obsession?
7 stole my heart very specifically because of the old movie Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
Okay.
So it was very specifically my obsession with that movie where I would wake up, put it on, go to bed, put it on, wake up, put it on. I watched that movie. And what's funny is I couldn't really even tell you the story of it. All I knew is that I just always put it on because the animation was incredible. The fight scenes were incredible. And when Sephiroth showed up, I was at my nerdiest. So
Awesome. So Final Fantasy then is your answer to what you're
easy.
most excited about. You think we'll get like 10 Sephiroth cards like we got with all the characters from Lord of the Rings? Or I think they have more to work with for Final Fantasy. We probably don't have that many, right?
I'm gonna cross my fingers, you know. Oop, I might have bumped my mic a little bit. So I'm crossing my fingers. Lord of the Rings, I believe Sauron had at least 3 cards. So I'm crossing my fingers for at least 3 Sephiroth cards.
And you're gonna
I know
brew
there's going to
all
be
of
at least,
them?
at minimum, there's going to be one more. I'll brew all of them, but I'll probably come to own just like the one that speaks to me the most.
Yeah, that sounds like an excellent plan. Figure out which one you like the best.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's a mono black one.
What about Last Airbender? Did that announcement get you excited, or are you not into that show?
It's interesting. I do love Avatar. I love that world. I'm shocked to learn that it's massive enough for an entire set of Magic the Gathering. That's I'm sure that's unbelievably exciting for a lot of people. For me, I'm like, I've got my little bit of my skepticism. I'm like, we'll see how this works out, you know. But I love the character Zuko. I like a nice vigilante, you know, enemies become friends. I like that he's just like a broody, angry dude at the beginning, but then he learns to have a heart. I don't know, for some reason that the line is stuck in my head. Bring me the Avatar, and that's he just said it all the time. Bring me the Avatar. So I like the villains, and regardless of how the entire set impacts me, I'll enjoy the individual kind of characters like Zuko and Toph. I think it'll be incredibly cool to see them on a card. And not that I would have ever expected that in like a million years, but I guess anything's possible now in Magic.
Anything's possible. So, chat, keep the questions coming, of course. And hello, Zoe. We are having 3 Universes Beyond sets this year. Do you think that's too many?
You know, my answer is probably, but not for me. So the first Universes Beyond was Walking Dead. And it sold amazingly, and it was beloved. but my God, was it also pretty despised in a lot of ways by a lot of people.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
my bias starts strong because when I heard that there were Walking Dead cards and I saw the internet ablaze with fury and rage, I was the person who was like, "Oh, this is for me." I couldn't wait to have Negan on a card. I couldn't wait to have Rick on a card. I was like, "This can't be real. This can't be real." So, Universes Beyond, I was sold on Universes Beyond from day one. And I knew my excitement for having Negan on a card would apply to so many people with their favorite property. So my inherent understanding of the delight of Universes Beyond has made me biased on it as a concept and never really been against it at any point. I understand for like competitors or people who've been ingrained in the, you know, the in universe of Magic.
Hmm.
I can see how there's disappointment there. I understand that. I just personally don't share that disappointment. And I'm just crossing my fingers we'll get Digimon next, you know? I'm just like, hopefully, I'm just like, do another one that I'm going to love, you know?
You think Digimon could happen, even though they already have their own card game?
Probably not. Just kind of the same way I don't expect the Warcraft universe because they have Hearthstone. So I
Hmm.
don't expect Digimon. But when you have an Avatar: The Last Airbender in complete set coming out, I feel like the brakes are off. There's if I can't be surprised to see a Digimon in a Magic card when we have Chucky and SpongeBob. There really can't be any surprises anymore, right?
Right. And I just actually remembered that there is a Final Fantasy TCG. So I
Yeah,
guess
exactly.
I don't think anybody plays it, but it does exist. It's newer.
Right.
So I guess it's not impossible. We could see,
Right.
we could see One Piece. They have their own card game,
Yeah.
but they could have a Magic. Pokemon will never happen ever,
That's the
but
one, right.
yeah, that'll never happen.
Right.
Mr. Bevers rated with 23 people. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. This is What's Up. It's an AMA show where we have an excellent, amazing guest almost every week, and we definitely do this week. Just kidding. We have one every week. But this week is
Excellent and amazing.
especially one of my favorite people. Drop those questions in chat for Bobbi Christine so she can answer
Hi,
them
Mr.
for you.
B.
Mr. Bevers, one of my favorite Canadians. Hello. Command Zoe says Dune when? We could
Dune.
get
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Dune.
yeah.
There's
Make a lot of people happy.
books, a lot of books in that series that they could draw from for sure. And with the movies being so popular, it'd be a good time for it. But we'll see. Any predictions for new Universes Beyond sets for next year?
Predictions.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard to like decide if it's something is a prediction or just a hope. You know what I mean? I already said Digimon, so I it's hard to say if that's not at the very top of my list.
Hmm.
Again, not really a prediction, more of a hope. But Kingdom Hearts, oh, ooh, Kingdom Hearts will get me. Kingdom Hearts will get me big time. It's hard. I feel like they're hard to predict
Yeah.
unless you got some behind the scenes knowledge. They actually seem pretty hard to predict. Never would have predicted Assassin's Creed. Honestly, never would have predicted Avatar: The Last Airbender. Maybe for a single secret layer with like 5 cards in it, maybe.
Hmm.
But it's never would have predicted Chucky. You know, so it's almost hard to predict. But those are my hope. You know.
Yeah, with the Kingdom Hearts thing, like I think a year ago I would have said no, that's never going to happen because Disney has Lorcana now.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting Marvel,
Yep.
so it's
And
clear that
Marvel.
Disney
Yeah.
is willing to work
Yeah.
with Magic the Gathering and Hasbro. So it's not impossible. And Lorcana hasn't really touched on Kingdom Hearts yet, as far as I
Yeah.
know. So
The Square Enix side of things
not
seems to
impossible.
be untapped.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's see. the Bloodrick guy asked a question a while back. Was there ever a truly bespoke commander experience that has stuck with you since it happened? That's always that
Beef.
word always amuses me. Bespoke. It's a funny word. What's
um,
a Magic game memory that you'll always have?
Memory of Magic that I will always have. They asked for Commander specifically, but as a content creator, I play so much Commander that my brain can't help but mesh it all into one thing that it makes it hard to remember specifics. I can think of something bespoke for my Magic journey in general, less so Commander. My bespoke journey in Magic, the reason I'm a Magic player today was the acquisition of an old school Ravnica dual deck, Izzet versus Golgari. Getting that precon of Izzet versus Golgari, where my deck had Jared Golgari Lichlord, and I first my best friend Paul, and we just got into it. He was clearly an Izzet player. I was clearly a Golgari player.
Mm-hmm.
And that old dual deck precon that they used to make, that was my like all the lights came on moment kind of for me. So if I think of my most bespoke moment, it's the acquisition of that original dual deck with my friend.
Cool. George Adolio asks, Bobby, what are your thoughts on the bracket system? How do you feel about it?
Um, I almost feel it almost feels weird that my take on it is well, maybe it is controversial. I don't know. Everyone has a different take on it.
Yeah.
But first, I have to admit a little bias. I have a tremendous faith in the people behind the bracket system.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin, Lua, Rebel, Kristen, the Commander format panel, Charlotte. There's so many people that I've got to know and who I've got to see firsthand their passion for this game, for this format. So I just want to admit my bias up front. That I do very much like the bracket system. But one thing that enforced that my appreciation of the bracket system was when they announced it, Moxfield, the website that I used to build my decks. Shout out to Architect. I forgot we're on EDH Rec. Hey, all right.
I was about to mute you, like, we don't talk about Moxfield on this stream.
Architect, so my deck brewing website of choice, all of them did this. Architect did this as well. They all did an amazing job. As soon as it was announced, it was integrated into these websites, into these deck building websites, what bracket your deck fit into.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw my default bracket listings, they all made sense to me. I was like, yes, I built that deck to be a 2. Absolutely. I built that deck to be a 2 on purpose. I built that deck to be a 2. And all the decks they listed as 3s, I was like, yeah, those are my upgraded, stronger decks. So when I was looking at it, I was like, yep, that's a 3. This deck's a 2. This deck's a 3. I completely agree, like with the analysis. And I don't know. That makes me wonder if I'm being too biased, but I couldn't help. I genuinely, that's how I felt. I couldn't help it. I was like impressed immediately that the method by which I was brewing my decks to align with these power levels was immediately reflected.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all about the bracket system. The decks I've been brewing lately, 3 is my strong suit. I love to build with 3 game changers. I love deciding which of the game changers out of this long list, not that long, but out of this list of game changers, I like picking and choosing maybe which are most thematic with the deck that I'm working for. So I'm a massive proponent of the bracket system. I'm using the bracket system with my brewing. On my Patreon, I offer deck brewing services to people. And when I brew decks for them, I use the bracket system. I let them know, hey, what bracket are you looking at? I want you to know that my strength is in 3. We can build you something that fits very comfortably in 3. If you'd like, I can build something in 4. And the bracket system also gives me the clear language to tell people I'm not brewing for 5. If you want to play CDH and you want to get into tournaments and you want to win this game at all costs,
Uh-huh.
that's a different set of skills. That's bracket 5.
Yeah.
So it's been helpful in many, many, many ways. And for my deck brewing services, I can now just tell people I'm brewing 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in a 1 through 4 deck, come to me. I can help make that happen for you. I love the bracket system. I love it.
Where would you send them for a 5? Rebel?
The first person that comes to my mind is Ian, comedian
Okay.
MTG. I know he explicitly has CDH coaching services.
True. Yeah.
So that that comes to Ian comes to my mind first.
Okay. You know, from my point of view, I was actually pretty down on the bracket system. I thought like nobody's gonna use this, but then MagicCon Chicago happened, and in several games I heard people talking like, "Oh, my deck is a 3. It has this many tutors and game changers." Not everybody was using it. I couldn't really use it because I knew that my decks were all like 2s and 3s, but I hadn't like kept track of like how many game changers or anything like that were in any of my decks. I mean, I play like a 2, so my decks are basically a 2.
Right.
But it was interesting to hear people actually, talking and using it and saying what's in their deck. So maybe there's hope for it more than I had expected.
I think while it's imperfect, I feel fairly confident saying that those conversations that happened in Chicago were probably more clear than the conversations that were happening before we introduced the bracket system. That's I don't have like data on that or whatever, but
Sure.
that's just the feeling that I have, that even if it's imperfect, it's an improvement.
That's quite possible. Let's see here. JJ Mickey, who was also in Chicago. Hello, JJ. Says, "Hi, Bobby. What's your second favorite Birds of Paradise art after Jordan LeBlanc's, of course?"
AJ knows what's up.
Yeah.
Number 1, the lovely Jordan LeBlanc. Fantastic artist. She did the Birds of Paradise art for my organization. So we have our own Birds of Paradise, which is absolutely stunningly beautiful. If I had to pick a second one, that's tough. It's between the anime Ravnica remastered birds. And these are both newer ones that have become like some of my favorite actually. And I just got my hands on the double-sided Monty Python Birds of Paradise. And one of the Birds of Paradise on the Monty Python is was this beautiful blue bird. It's like a blue jay bird. Absolutely stunning. That's a hard question because now I'm thinking about the parrot and the more parrot looking one from like 8th edition, the original or like 7th edition Birds of Paradise. That's tough. That's a tough question.
There've been a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and they're all so beautiful. And of course, Mark Pool's original one. You know what? Screw it. I can answer this question however I want. All of them. There, take that.
Got it. Colin O'Clock, hey Colin, asks, "Do you have any decks that you consider to be bracket 1? If so, what is it?"
Hi, Colin. I did have a bracket 1 deck recently, and it was a deck that I intentionally brewed to be around, if not a little bit underneath, the precon power level. It was a Golgari insect deck led by Amzu from the Clue set. Amzu was this a new Golgari legendary insect that gives your other insects menace and has a little graveyard interaction. I had realized that all of my decks, these are all crazy strong, and I really want something that I know I'm probably not going to win with, that I can pull out at a precon table, basically my own precon. You know what I mean? Like Wizards has made plenty of precons that you can play. I wanted my precon, the deck that is intentionally built very synergistically, but not built in a way that's ever going to completely overwhelm or overrun the table. So that was my bracket 1 deck. But I recently gifted that deck away to a lovely, lovely friend of mine. So Not sitting at any bracket one at the moment.
Hmm.
But I like the bracket system because I now feel very compelled to build a new one to be like, okay, this is my new bracket one deck. So that was my deck. But I gifted it away like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Taco Tony asks, "What is your favorite Universes Beyond precon so far?"
Hi, Taco Tony. Universes Beyond Precon. What is the freaking Precon? Um, the Doctor Who ones were lovely, but I don't know if my favorite is in there. Fallout had
Warhammer,
some
Fallout, Lord of the Rings,
Necrons,
Necron.
mono black Necrons.
That deck was fire.
That's
Absolutely.
gonna take the cake for me. First, I love a monocolor deck, so I'm like less thinkies, right? And them taking the mono black route, but also being an artifact deck. I don't know if you remember on Scrap Trawlers, but I made an Armix and the other mono black uncommon. It was a mono black artifact deck.
Yeah, it was.
So I kind of
Yeah, it was
already in
good.
my heart somewhere had room for a mono black artifact brew,
Yeah,
and the Necrons personified that very, very well.
very cool. Chat, keep coming with those questions. We've got some more time here. I'm gonna ask a few of my own. How many commander decks do you have right now, and what is your favorite?
I'll take this moment to gush a little bit. I have more than 20 decks. I have like 25. Five of those are like specialty brews, maybe a brew I made out of like a booster box or a deck. Like I have a Bloomburrow deck that has only Bloomburrow cards.
Okay.
But aside from those tertiary decks, I have a strong core of 20 decks very intentionally. I have 20 decks that I consider my main decks, and a reason I consider them that is because they're all part of one overall project that I've been referring to as the Singleton Project because across all 20 of my main commander decks, there's only one copy of any card across all of those decks.
Even
It takes the concept of commander and it stretches it out across my entire collection. So it's made brewing much more thought provoking for me.
uh-huh.
It's made it the decision of which of these decks gets the Soul Ring, which of these decks gets the Arcade Signet, which of these decks gets the Path to Exile.
Wow.
It's made brewing so much more exciting for me. So I have the 20 decks that are part of my Singleton project that I consider my main decks. My favorite decks. I got to give it to two of them because they're on equal footing for me. I have a Astrid Peth life gain deck that I call Life Gain Lesbians. Because the theme of the deck, there's a very heavy like romance and theme in the deck with like wedding rings, the One Ring, what's the other one? A good example, Secret Rendezvous, the Wedding of River Song,
Hmm.
and as much of the deck has ladies in the art as I can, because I'm a proud I'm a proud gay woman, and so this deck is just like my representation. It's a mono white life gain deck at the end of the day, and it's absolutely one of my favorites. It's my major bullying project, and the deck that stands on a footing with it is a Bellacore Shadowborn Apostles Demon deck,
Okay.
but my Bellacores have been altered into Ganondorf from The Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
So I have these breathtaking Modfly altars of Ganondorf, and I call it my Ganondorf Shadowborn Apostles. Like it's a demon deck, but I never call my commander Bellacore. I'm casting Ganondorf, so that deck is both of the decks I mentioned are absurdly blinged out. There's very rare, valuable secret layer versions of Shadowborn Apostles, and I picked up my last two this weekend at MagicCon Chicago. So my Ganondorf Demon and Shadowborn Apostle deck has every rare secret layer printing of Shadowborn Apostle. It took me like a year and a half to finally get all of them. Very long term project. Very much the decks that like if I were to suddenly croak, nobody gets these decks. They're coming in the grave with me. You know what I mean?
Bury 'em with me. Wow.
Yep,
Now,
I'm taking them with me.
now, does this project, do you apply that rule to non-basic lands as well? Do you only have one deck with a command tower?
There are very few exceptions to the singleton rule. The exceptions to the rule are Command Tower, Birds of Paradise, Path of Ancestry. Those are the only three exceptions.
Okay.
Yeah. Path
So,
of Ancestry is the tap land that gives you a color of any of your commander identity. So it's like a second command tower.
yeah.
And Birds of Paradise, as the leader of Birds of Paradise, I wanted to represent as many bots across my decks as I could. So those three, I thought it was very, very reasonable to have those three be my exceptions to the rule.
So do you have like a stack of soul rings on your deck that you just look at and go, "Oh, I wish."
No, they're out of my sight. Nope,
They're out of
they're gone.
sight, locked away, so you can't get at them.
No.
Throw
You
away
know,
the key.
at LGS, they'll give you like 20 cents for one of those things. So you just stack them up. Next thing you know, you got like $10 in store credit.
Yeah, absolutely. You buy enough precons, you end up being able to
Right.
wallpaper your house with soul rings and arcane signets.
Right.
Let's see here. Okay, hypothetical question for you. Tomorrow, Gavin Verhey calls you up and says, Bobbi Christine, you are now in charge of Commander. There's no more Commander format panel, it's just you.
Hmm.
What's your first action?
Unleash prime time. Okay, that's maybe a bad idea.
Well, we
It's
know who
maybe
not to give the job to now.
That's maybe a very, very, very bad idea. But as a
Yeah.
Timmy, I've never got to enjoy the completely overpowered BS that Primeval Titan is. Realistically, I feel like I, I almost want to take the question so seriously I'd have to like sit here and think about it. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of a joke answer, but like if I were writing Commander, the concept is like ignites my brain. It makes me want to like sit here and write an essay like how would I change Commander? That's something I should think on. Well, I think it's a difficult question to answer because Commander is in a great place. Commander, I feel like, is in a wonderfully healthy spot. Maybe even before the bracket system, I felt like I wish we had something to guide players a little better. Well, we have that now. So I mean, maybe it would maybe that would have been my answer, but we have that now. But to change Commander, let's put humility on the game changer list. There, we'll leave Primeval Titan. I know it's way too strong. That was just my Timmy getting a little wild,
Uh-huh.
but let's get humility onto the game changer list because middle finger to that card. That card is not fun for anybody. Like, who's happy to see humility hit the board? Humility turns every creature into a one with no abilities. It's basically like turn off your commander and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be my first change. We're gonna update the game changer list immediately.
What's your favorite way to play Magic that isn't Commander?
I work with a group called Magic Kids, and Magic Kids is an organization that teaches kids how to play Magic. As it's a two-pronged attack. It's an educational uh, avenue to teach kids how to play Magic. Great to help kids with writing skill or not writing skills, reading skills, a little bit of math. You know, Magic is a great tool for education. And the other thing Magic Kids does is they accept donated cards to then create into kits for after-school programs
Mm-hmm.
to, again, further utilize Magic as an educational tool. My favorite way to play Magic outside of Commander is to be working with Magic Kids and teaching people how to play the game. I don't think anything leaves me quite as like delighted and feeling as purposeful as getting to sit down with Magic Kids and teach people how to play the game and watch their their spark unite. You know, watch their Planeswalker spark suddenly come online
Mm-hmm.
when they put one card together and another card together, and they see how those cards come together in this synergistic way, and it makes them feel smart. Because I remember how that felt, and sharing that feeling, definitely that's my favorite way to play Magic for sure.
Excellent. That's very awesome. to get involved with the community like that and help teach people to play? Is it basically just like kitchen table, whatever you get in your packs is what you play with when you're doing Magic Kids?
When we're teaching, we use Jumpstart.
Okay.
And Jumpstart's a great format.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful for teaching. So Jumpstart is the teaching method. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. What other hobbies do you have?
I'm a gamer. I've always been a gamer. Some people might notice my tattoo here is of Miss Fortune. She's from the game League of Legends.
Okay.
While I really play League of Legends today too much, I had a huge era of being a League of Legends player. So much so that Miss Fortune really stuck with me. She's like one of my soul characters. So gaming is, Magic's gaming, but video gaming is definitely like that. I'm gonna be video gaming till I'm a grandma. Sometimes like when I when I picture a retire home, my thought is like, why aren't all of them playing video games? Like, what do y'all, why wouldn't you be playing video games when you're old? And that's my plan. So I plan to video game for the rest of my life. Right now, my obsession is a game called Hyrule Warriors. It's a little bit of an older game.
Yeah.
But it's like a Legend of Zelda fan service video game where you get to play several dozen of the franchise characters, and they have these move sets that make you feel like, imagine you're playing Link from the Legend of Zelda, but you're playing Link at his maximum power level. Like you're playing Link at his absolute strongest. So that game in particular has a lot of my focus right now.
Okay. George Dolio asks, what big decision would WotC make that would make you quit Magic?
Dismantling the Commander format panel.
All right.
Okay, well, realistically, I don't think anything is going to make me quit Magic.
Sure.
I think no matter what steps Wizards of the Coast may take, no matter what errors or that they may make, whatever horrible decision they may make, Magic's too big not to be our game. Wizards can put out the dumbest, worst cards. For the record, I don't think this is going to happen. But theoretically, they could put out the dumbest, worst cards imaginable. Bad synergy. This sucks. Like Ice Age Part 2 or whatever that old set is that almost killed the game.
Homelands.
Homelands. There you go. Right. And it wouldn't matter to me because not only do we have the entire history of cards to play with before that happened, but the game is more than a game. It's a game system. We have the freedom to make Magic whatever the heck we want. The Magic the Gathering that you want to play, I feel like if you got to put in a bit of the legwork, but you can find the kind of Magic the Gathering that you want to play. Mm-hmm. If somehow we had to go Renegade and be like, well, I don't know what format they're working on. I like Commander. This is the format I could play. No matter what they do with Commander, I feel like I could play the Commander that I love for the rest of my life. Maybe that's a little naive, but I feel like Magic is so powerful as a game system and is so much ours that Wizards can't take it away with any of their decisions. At least that's how I feel. I feel like nothing Wizards does can take Magic from me, if that makes sense.
Sure, absolutely. What is your favorite tabletop game other than Magic?
Little table. I'm surprisingly light on my tabletop action. Mm-hmm. Let's say Kingdom Death. Kingdom Death is a game that I dabbled in a little bit because my friends back home in Texas were like, let's play Kingdom Death. And I was like, what's Kingdom Death? And they showed me this game, and it says basically you're playing. It's the closest thing to playing a game where you're in hell that I've ever experienced. Like it's just this horrid gothic atmosphere where everything's trying to kill you. Everything's this hellish demon monster that has like 10 too many mouths stuck to it, and like it's grotesque. And It's vile. The scenery in
You're
Kingdom
really
Death is,
selling it for me. I love it.
yeah, you see these monsters and I'm like, why does that look like that? And in Kingdom Death you get to try and kill these horrific monsters. So if you like brutal, if you like metal brutal kind of
Uh-huh.
aesthetic, I loved Kingdom Death just because it was so brutal and grotesque in like the best way.
All right, very cool. We've got just a little bit of time left here, so we're gonna go to the lightning round questions. Just a few quick questions before we head
You got it.
out. Favorite movie?
The Babadook. Sometimes I
Wow,
call myself sometimes I call myself the Bobby Duke.
the Bowie Duke. That is an excellent choice.
I
That's
love
a
that
very good
movie.
movie.
It speaks about the message is face your demons,
Uh huh.
and I love it.
Very cool. Yeah, I love that movie. Favorite musician or band?
Coheed and Cambria, prog rock, early 2000s. I mean, they're putting out music today still. So
Sure. How many times
big
have you seen
fluffy
them
hair,
live?
Claudio Sanchez. I've seen Coheed and Cambria live 13 times.
Super
The last
fan.
time being last year. I saw him just last year. I'm a Coheed fan to the end.
Okay. Last thing you ate.
Well, I drank the drinking doesn't count. I ate a bacon cheeseburger from Chicago, one of Chicago's most popular like hot dog joints. I forget what it was called, but they were like, "You need to try a Chicago dog. We're going to this place." And I was like, "I had a Chicago dog last year. I want a burger." So I just enjoyed a lovely bacon cheeseburger.
All right. That's I love bacon cheeseburgers myself. That's probably my deathbed meal. Um,
Yep.
Especially because like
Amen.
I don't eat gluten anymore, so
Hmm.
that would definitely be up
Good
there.
call.
Bacon cheeseburgers. They're amazing. Let's see. What is your favorite food?
Um, I want to say anything with well cooked shrimp in it. I love that oceany taste. I love popcorn shrimp. I love shrimp. Like a the first thing that come to my head would be like a shrimp Alfredo. Just the creamy noodles and just some little shrimpies in there for me to enjoy.
Little shrimpies. Love it. And last question for the evening is favorite adult beverage.
Long Island iced tea gets the job done, and I can barely taste it.
Oh, that makes me sad, Bobby Christine, but I understand it.
I
Okay,
like the girly drinks with plenty of sugar, and it's trying to hide the fact that it's an alcohol.
Long Island iced teas don't actually have that much sugar. It's just a lot of booze. Then all the flavors kind of just cancel each other out. There's some orange liqueur in there that is giving I think most of the sweet flavor to it, and that little bit of
Got
hint
it.
of Coke in it.
That whatever's hiding it is doing a good job.
Yeah, yeah. Bobby Christine, thank you so much for being on the show. It was an absolute pleasure. It was a blast. I had a great time catching up with you. Before we go, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you online, how they can support you, and any upcoming things you have coming up, events or gigs or anything like that?
You got it. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Bobby Christine. I am proud of the fact that if you Google Bobby Christine, you're just gonna find me. You're gonna find all my little links. Bobby Christine Brewer, out here with the Lobby Pristine and the Birds of Paradise communities, all dedicated to making sure Commander players have a safe place to just enjoy the game. And so come follow me, follow Birds of Paradise, come join the Lobby Pristine. Yeah, you asked another thing, but I already forgot it.
Yeah, where they can support you, upcoming events, got all that
Yes,
covered.
upcoming events, that was the other thing you had. So Chicago took a lot out of me, and I actually don't plan to travel again until Vegas in September, July, I believe. Whenever
June.
MagicCon Vegas is, I'm saving all of my resources and saving all of the remaining energy that I have while still recovering from chemo. All of that energy, we're saving it up for MagicCon Vegas, and I do think it is in June. I think I remember seeing that on the
Yeah.
way out of the. So I'll be there, and my links are just find me at Bobbi Christine. I've got a little bio site, but I'm not like I'll I could post it in the chat later.
Okay.
One thing in particular I would love to share is that I am very, very proud of my deck brewing ability when it comes to bracket 1 through 4. I have several testimonies from a good number of community members who I've helped take a concept that they had for a commander deck and really, really bring it to light. So please check out my Patreon. My Patreon's also Bobbi Christine. And check out my tiers of deck assistance. I'd love to help you bring your dream commander deck to life.
Excellent. All right, friends, and I'm Andy Zupke. You can find me on the blue sky at Zupkeep, Zupkeep. We will be back next week, Tuesday, same time, same place. I don't know who we're gonna have yet, TBD. But we will definitely be here. Dana Roach is not giving me any weeks off, so we'll be here with another guest. Just haven't figured out who it is yet, but we'll be here. Thank you everybody for hanging out with
Oh,
us. Thank you, Bobbi Christine. Did you have someone else?
yes. Oh, I just wanted to shout out your previous guest, Rebel and Anna Margaret. I'm just a fangirl, and I'm honored to be here and be a part of the echelon of incredible people you've had on the show. Thank you, Andy.
Absolutely. Yes, we've had some amazing guests, and I'm happy to have more of them on soon. Thank you, Bobbi Christine. We're going to send the love on over to Kuro Hitsuki. Tell them we said hi, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Kuro. We did it.
Yay!
Yay. I haven't rambled like that in a while.